We are the Fallbrook Climate Action Team, and we are an unaffiliated group of people who are concerned about climate change and the effects it has on our current lives and the future. We're non-political, we're not a 501(c), and we've been putting on these talks for 10 years now, I guess. And tonight we have a repeat performance by Bob Hill of EDCO, who is going to be going over, as we seem to need a lot, recycling. It seems to be the greatest mystery for people, like what to put where
There
and
you
when.
go.
And
Yes.
I'm ready to disown parts of my own family over it. So I'm glad it's recorded because I'll force them to sit and watch it. And I think I'm just gonna let you go right now. Well, we're gonna have time for Q&A. Bob, would you like to take Q&A while you're talking or save it till
No,
the end?
we'll take it at the end. That'd be
I'm
perfect at the end. I don't want
gonna
to screw
forget
up
your,
my rhythm here, you know? Yeah.
don't ruin your rhythm. If you think you're gonna forget your question, put it in the chat box, folks, and it will not be forgotten. Thanks, Bob.
All right. You got it. Sounds good. Let's try to share this for you guys. Okay. And there we go. And you guys got it? You see it?
Got it.
Got it.
Got
All
it.
right. So down the bottom of the screen here, it's Recycling 101. We're going to go over a good bit of our what we're doing right now. I mean, at Fallbrook Refuge in particular. So on the road to zero waste that's one of our logos, and that's something we actually try to live by. And there's a lot of companies out there that'll tell you they're doing that, but we are actually doing it, and we're going to show you how we're doing it. Okay. So let's go to slide. Well, this is me, right? Director of Recycling, Director of Marketing also, and I've been with EDCO over 20 years. As the Director of EDCO, I make sure we try to keep on improving on our what we're recycling, adding items to recycling, looking for homes for new materials, and then at the same time, also, if you see there, I market all the materials. So our goal is to make the best possible materials out there, because if you have quality material, everybody's going to want it. And the weird thing about this recycling market is when prices are higher on items, it's easy to get rid of the material. When it starts dropping down, that means demand's dropping. So we've never had a problem with our material. Everybody always wants our material because it's that good. And I wanted to go into our slides here to show you. Oh, by the way, I'm not in Fallbrook. I'm a Ramona guy, and I've been living in San Diego since 1983. I came out here in the Navy, and I did 22 years in the Navy before I started this job. So let's go into the first big slide here. I'm going to show you a video. This is where your material is actually going. So all the Fallbrook material goes into Fallbrook Refuge, and then it's stored, just the recycling is stored in one area. Then we put it on some of these big semi trucks you may have seen, and it gets transferred down to our facility down there in Escondido. And the material goes through this process. And I want to show you the video, and it might pop up with like a little 5-second blurb commercial or something like that, but then we'll get through it and it'll be okay.
Recycling is one of the most common of all environmental activities, and is also a great way to save natural resources. We collect our cans, bottles, paper, cardboard, and plastics, and conveniently toss it all into one bin. Californians consume a staggering 73 million single-use beverage containers every day. But what happens to all that recycling after it's collected? With a focus on recycling, family-owned and operated EDCO has heavily invested in processing facilities, operating 3 material recovery facilities in Southern California. These facilities feature the newest and most advanced technology available to effectively separate the materials for shipment to end-use markets. The largest facility is 70,000 square feet and can process 100,000 pounds of commingled recycling per hour, using a series of screens, magnets, high-speed optic scanners, conveyors, and EDCO personnel to separate mixed loads of recyclable material. Commingled recycling material is dumped on the tipping floor and is then loaded into large drum feeders at the beginning of the system. The drum feeders free contents from plastic bags and ensures an even flow of material on the conveyor belt. The material is now on its way to the first pre-sort line, where EDCO team members pull out large, bulky items and any contamination. From this pre-sort line, the material is dropped onto the cardboard screens. Small, pliable material falls through the screens, while cardboard surfs on top. The cardboard is then sent to the final sorting line to remove any remaining contaminants and then is directed by conveyor to a bunker to be baled. The smaller material that falls through travels up to the next level to another pre-sort line where EDCO team members remove plastic film and any small cardboard that fell through the cardboard screen. The remaining material then drops onto the anti-wrapping screen. The aggressive agitation system breaks glass and removes the glass and other 2-inch minus size material from the stream. The broken glass and fines move through a glass cleanup system for further separation. The material now moves to the ONP screening station to separate newspaper from the material stream. The sorted newspaper is directed to the final sorting line where remaining contamination is removed by hand. The cleaned newspaper is now directed to a bunker to be baled. Sorting mixed paper comes next. The leftover material makes its way on conveyor belts to the first of 7 high-tech optic eye sorters. The optic eye sorters identify material and automatically sorts it from the line with puffs of air, directing the material to a separate conveyor. The optic eye sorters can be reprogrammed at any time to remove other items. After EDCO sorts out all of the paper and cardboard from the line, they begin to remove all the remaining hard goods from the recycling stream. Hard goods consist of tin, plastic, steel, and aluminum cans. The system uses magnetic belts to remove the steel and tin cans from the commingled stream of material and drops it into its own bunker. The material now makes its way to the elliptical. The elliptical efficiently separates 2D and 3D materials and fines. Ejected fiber gets redirected back to the fiber line for recovery. Hard goods travel up by conveyor belt to the container processing line. The material drops onto a shaker screen that redistributes the material evenly on the conveyor belt for a smooth flow. The optic eye sorter now scans for PET and directs it to the final sorting line. The remaining material drops onto an eddy current separator. The eddy current propels aluminum cans over a separation gate and onto a conveyor that goes to the final sorting line. The leftover material makes its way through 2 more optic eye sorters to separate HDPE and number 5 plastics. The final recovery station allows EDCO team members the chance to recover any missed recycling before the remaining material is processed and sent to the landfill. This state-of-the-art facility allows EDCO to process mixed recycling with minimal contamination. EDCO's material recovery facilities are expected to divert over 400,000 tons of material from landfills each year, assisting jurisdictions throughout Southern California in achieving zero waste goals. At EDCO, we'll take care of it.
The material that comes into our into Fallbrook Refuge gets transferred down to our facility into Escondido. It's down on Washington Street and Mission. We take over the whole block there for processing of different items. So the EDCO processing facility in Escondido takes all of the commingled materials into the facility, and it gets separated by item. So you're going to end up with all the cardboard is going to be set by cardboard, all of the mixed paper is going to be set by mixed paper, and then you got your aluminum cans, you got your tin cans, you have your HDPE number 2, which is your laundry tubs, laundry buckets, your 1-gallon laundry, Clorox and Tides and stuff like that. And then the HDPE natural plastic is your milk jugs. And then you have other plastics include number 5 plastic we process. And number 5 plastics, a lot of times people refer to them as tubs and lids. So the tubs and lids are like margarine, yogurt, cottage cheese, different items like that. and that's nearly impossible to actually pull that from the conveyor belts when they're moving at a high speed. But what we did, we made a major investment into that facility with optic sorts. So we have the ability to have an optic identify the product on the line and then take that product and eject it onto the proper line it's supposed to go to. That's all. It's almost like artificial intelligence. I guess it's the uh, part of artificial intelligence because we can program that computer to capture that. We also program it to capture our PET plastic, number one plastic, and we have it capturing the number two plastic as well. And then we also have optic sorts for our paper. So all of our paper that goes through that facility, the smaller pieces, get captured by optics, which shoots a jolt of air to the bottom of the paper and pushes it to the correct line.
Wow.
Uh, so these facilities, and I encourage you guys after this or anytime you get a chance, go to Fallbrook Refuge, go to resources. You'll see videos, and there's a tremendous amounts of videos that we have. And one is this recycling video. We have videos on our anaerobic digesters because I had that in here too. Probably won't be able to show it, and we have videos on batteries, how harmful batteries can be in the stream. You know, like the lithium batteries, they catch fires in these facilities all the time. It's just absolutely horrible. Uh, so, but this facility here you're looking at, and then we have a facility in Lemon Grove. Between the two facilities, we process every single day approximately 2 million pounds of material. That's from your blue recycled carts in front of your house or also the commercial blue bins at businesses. That's 2 million pounds every single day. I'm going to go to the next slide since I can't do much here, right? But here are some of the challenges, which is contamination. There's a fair amount of contamination in the stream, and the biggest by weight, believe it or not, because we're talking about plastics, right? Plastic bags. By weight, the number one contaminant in the stream is plastic bags. There's just a tremendous amount of plastic bags that are not supposed to be in that facility or come in your blue recycle bin, but people do it all the time. What happens is the material goes up our processing line, and we have something called the pre-sort line, where the people actually have to pull off trash or anything that can be harmful to the equipment before it starts going through our screening processes. And when they pick up a plastic bag, if it's kind of heavy and it might feel like they don't know what's in it, you don't want to break that open and basically next thing you know a bunch of food falls out onto the line and starts contaminating other materials. So what they do, usually a sealed plastic bag, they have to toss that in the trash because they don't want to contaminate other materials. um, so then we get into it reduces the value of materials at times too because it can get encompassed into some of these bales of material, which we don't like. We do everything we can to keep them out, but they get in there every once in a while. And then we have some of the solutions, though. If you take a look at my house, for instance, right at my house, I'm sitting in my kitchen right now. If I looked into my recycle bin, I do have a plastic bag in there because my wife doesn't want to throw stuff directly into the uh, the recycle bin loose. So what I do is I use that bag over and over and over again until it gets to the point where it's time to change. And then I place that bag into my trash can, and then off it goes eventually. But it gets used over and over again that way. Um, a good alternative is paper bags. We talked about the paper bags. We can take paper bags and we can put our recycling on those as well, but we can also use the paper bags for other things. We can take that for our organic, commingled organics, because now we are allowed to put the food waste into the green bins. Paper bags make a great package for your mixed or green organics, your organic food waste. So the peels and everything, you can roll them up like a burrito and toss them into your bin so it doesn't get stinky or soiled. And then we'll move on to the next slide here. Now, this is another one that I really encourage everyone to look at this video here.
Organic waste accounts for over 40% of the material in California's waste stream. Disposing organic waste in landfills is a big problem, and it's not just because of the resources we lose. In heaps of trash, organic waste decomposes and emits greenhouse gases. Organic waste is available in large quantities all over Southern California. Most of it is in the form of green waste from cities and local communities, garden and kitchen waste from homes, and food waste and scraps from industrial and commercial operations. Mandatory recycling of organic waste is the next step to achieving California's zero waste goals, and EDCO has a sustainable solution to help local jurisdictions comply. EDCO constructed the first state-of-the-art advanced technology anaerobic digestion facility in San Diego County, capable of powering our fleet of trucks with renewable natural gas. With a focus on diverting even more organic waste from landfill, EDCO is investing in phase 2 of the anaerobic digestion facility, thereby doubling the processing capacity to over 186,000 tons per year. This significant investment is anticipated to be completed in 2026 and will enable jurisdictions to achieve state mandates, including AB 1826, AB 1594, and SB 1383, which are directly related to organic recycling in California. Anaerobic digestion, or AD, is the natural process in which microorganisms break down organic materials such as food waste, green waste, fats, oils, and greases. Anaerobic digestion happens in closed spaces where there is no air. A fully automated crane system feeds the AD system, which means the facility can operate around the clock, 7 days a week. The core of the facility are the digesters, where microorganisms decompose the organic matter in the absence of oxygen. Over the course of approximately 3 weeks, with steady agitation and an operating temperature of 131 degrees, the biogas is released from the organic matter and captured in the system. The material that is left after anaerobic digestion happens is called digestate. Digestate is a wet mixture that is separated into solid and liquid fractions. The solid digestate can be used directly in agriculture as a raw organic fertilizer or soil conditioner. Alternatively, it can be further processed into compost. The liquid digestate is also used as organic fertilizer. The raw gas from the digester is upgraded into renewable natural gas in a downstream system and can be fed into the gas grid or further compressed to be used as fuel for our carbon-negative fleet of trucks. Recycling organics is easy and convenient with EDCO's commingled organics recycling program. EDCO expanded our source-separated green waste collection to include the recycling of food waste. The service allows customers to toss food scraps in the same container as green waste. Simply put, if it grows, throw it in the green container. Residential kitchen caddies are offered to allow customers to easily store and carry their organic waste from the kitchen to their green waste cart. These caddies are dishwasher safe and are odor and bug resistant. The EDCO Anaerobic Digestion Facility provides a sustainable end market for Southern California's organic waste, while at the same time producing organic fertilizer and a carbon-negative fuel for the EDCO fleet. Since 1967, family-owned and operated EDCO has had a long-standing commitment to innovation and reducing impacts on the environment. EDCO's state-of-the-art anaerobic digestion facility assists jurisdictions to be in full compliance with state mandates and keeps us on the road to zero waste. At EDCO, we'll take care of it.
So we're going to be fueling our fleet with your food waste and green waste in the future.
Right on. Fabulous.
Yeah. Now, this is the AD, I talked about it. That's anaerobic digester facility expansion. And if you can look how massive this whole thing is, and this is right in Escondido, and you wouldn't even know it's there. We have 2 of them operating right now. You wouldn't even know they're operating. We have a like a beautification. It looks like a building, but it's just a wall on the outside of them. But it looks absolutely perfect for the area, and we've never received a single complaint about anything that's while these things are operating, because we have the ability to keep any type of smell down, and it's just pretty much the perfect system. We're very happy with it.
Yay.
So let's go on to the next one here, though. This is the big one. This is for Fallbrook. Now, most of our fleet right now is renewable natural gas. The renewable natural gas is ultra clean, of course, ultra low carbon, renewable gas powered fleet. That's what we're changing over to in Fallbrook here very shortly. Um, so it's created through the capture of methane through, like I just talked about in the anaerobic digesters, one way. There's other ways too. There's other digesters throughout the state, like, for instance, a dairy farm. A dairy farm has a lot of wet manure and stuff. They can actually make methane from that as well. And they're doing that in a lot of the areas throughout the state as well. But what we're doing with the renewable natural gas is we got a project going on right now, right in Fallbrook, that we had a fleet of diesel trucks up there. And the reason why is because we could not, we didn't have the infrastructure to put in these filling stations. Because what happens is with the renewable natural gas trucks, when they come in the evening, all we got to do is plug them in, and it pressurizes up, and once it hits a certain pressure, it shuts itself off. So our guys can go out the very next morning with a full truck of renewable natural gas and service the Fallbrook community. If you've been on West Aviation or up around that area, there's a lot of construction going on over there. There used to be a bunch of storage facilities that are being torn down right now, and that's where our filling stations for our fleet is going to go. So by within the next several months, but it's set for 2025 that we will have operating right in your neighborhoods renewable natural gas fueled fueled route trucks that are going to be picking up your recycling, and so that's really good news.
Great.
And so here's a little bit of the pictures from up there right now. You can see they're getting it all together, and very soon, like I said, we will be operating, and we got a whole fleet of trucks coming in soon to be servicing the Fallbrook area, and they're all going to be clean, green, renewable natural gas vehicles. So this is like I guess you could say this is like a bragging slide a little bit here. Okay. So this is 2023. We had 9,337,735 tons of diverted material through EDCO itself. We saved over 1.04 million trees by recycling paper.
Wow.
We recycled 3,451 tons of aluminum, saving 5.7 million gallons of oil. And then we recycled 22,246 tons of glass, which saves the feldspar, the limestone, soda ash, and of course sand. And the glass is being shipped right here in California that we capture and being made into new bottles. One of the biggest buyers of glass in California, you might not notice, is Ernest and Julio Gallo. They purchase a lot of bottles because they're more than just a wine company. They also produce bottles for a lot of other companies out there as well. And then we saved 676 tons of cubic yards of landfill space by recycling 71,190 tons of cardboard. And then we saved over 29.9 million kilowatts of energy recycling PET plastic. So that is the presentation. I really encourage you guys to go back and look at those slides. But I'll touch on a few other things here. I have a customer that purchases cardboard from us, and I asked him one time. I said, "What are you doing with your cardboard?" He goes, "Well, we sell a lot of our cardboard to Nike." And I said, "Nike? Wow, how many boxes you make for them?" They make 15 million boxes a month for Nike. A lot of boxes there. And we also, the PET plastic that we're processing right now, 95% of our PET plastics going up the City of Industry, where it's being made into new bottles, and then the new plastic, primarily bottles, but they also can make what they call clamshell type of plastic, but it's mainly new bottles. and that's right up the road. So we're keeping it local, and we're doing the best. Until you have a ban on a lot of stuff, we're going to make sure we have a home for it. So I'm going to open up the questions for you guys. No questions?
There's a bunch in the chat already.
Oh, okay.
We're told to put them in the chat.
Oh, okay. No problem. Yes. I'm ready.
Oh. Do you have access to chat or you want?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can say mine.
Sure, go
When
ahead.
I had, you said you would talk about it after. Just I realize that the focus is Fallbrook and the group's Fallbrook, but if you can just give a little bit
Oh,
of
that's
it
great.
about San Diego too.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. Where are you at in San Diego, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm in Ocean Beach.
Okay, Ocean
Um,
Beach.
yeah.
The material in Ocean Beach is picked up by a San Diego truck,
Right.
the yellow and I mean the orange and white ones, right? And your material is coming to our Lemon Grove facility. That material gets processed just like ours, and it gets shipped out along with our material because we process material for EDCO, City of San Diego, Republic Services, and Waste Management. We're basically the processor for all these haulers in San Diego right now. So your material is coming right to our facility, and it's being processed and it's being handled properly.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. And next question. I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to get to the chat room while I was talking here.
You just answered the next question, which is, do other companies have the same sorting ability? Well, actually, that's a different question.
Yeah,
This,
yeah, that's a good question. There's one other company in San Diego that does process, but they only process for, that's why I asked where you're at in San Diego, because they process for North San Diego City proper. And it's Allen Company, it's off Miramar Road. And they process like 50% of the city of San Diego's material. We do the other 50%. But when it comes to as a processor, our Lemon Grove facility processes material for waste management through East County and throughout the city of San Diego. We also process material, all the Chula Vista residential material comes in through Republic Services. It's really our competitor, but we're also work together to make this happen. Um, and then, so there's only 3 true processors in San Diego, and we have the one in Lemon Grove, we have the one in Escondido, and they have the one off of Miramar Road.
so
May
you're
I?
talking about this technical device that you have that kind of like shoots.
Sure.
air.
Yes.
Is
Yes.
that's available for everybody too, so that
That's available for people that bring their material to us. Now, I can't speak for Allen Company, the other company, but when it comes to our material, we have both facilities have 7 optic sorters. 4 of them alone are for paper. And then we have one for the PET #1 plastic, one for our HDPE #2 plastic, which is your milk jugs, or the colored bottles would be your Tides and Cloroxes and Downies and stuff like that. And then the third one is for, I mentioned earlier, is for the PP polypropylene #5 plastic, which is usually your smaller stuff. It's the tubs and lids that when we go buy margarine at the grocery store, when we go buy cottage cheese. It's always in those tubs. That's why they usually call it tubs and lids. There's other items in there, of course, but the industry refers to it as tubs and lids. And we capture all that. And the smallest of pieces with that equipment. It's a very big investment, but it's well worth the price.
and so #5 things do get recycled.
Oh, absolutely. I'll give you an example what #5 plastic's made into. If you go to the paint store and you buy a gallon of paint, just a few years back, all paints in the gallons were made into a metal can, if you guys remember. Now, if you go to the paint store and buy a gallon of paint, in most cases, you're going to find that gallon of paint's plastic. It's a black plastic. If you pick it up and look at the bottom, it's going to say number 5 on it. There's a good chance some of that material came from our EDCO facility to make that paint can.
I want to ask you, if you don't mind, because it's related. I'm in a condo complex.
Mm-hmm.
They switched a couple years ago, 3 years ago, to a company called Roadrunner, and I'm just curious as to whether you know about that company and whether they feed into your system or not, or.
Do not feed into our system, and I don't even know them actually.
Okay.
Um,
I'll
but
have to research more about them.
yeah, because you have to be certified by the city of San Diego to operate there, because the city of San Diego, believe it or not, takes for every operator that operates there, even on recycling, which is kind of crazy because they take a fee. They had a fee to every ton you pick up, but you think recycling you would incur more by not having a fee, but it's okay. We're dealing with it. Yeah, but
What
Roadrunner, I don't know.
what departments, waste manage, the waste department is who I would contact in the city of San Diego to ask
You
about.
you could ask environmental services departments.
Right, thank you.
Okay, sure.
Could you talk about what the PET plastic is?
Sure. It's always referred to as like PET number 1 plastic, right? It's our water bottles that we drink every day, or some people drink every day. If you're not having a reusable water, people buy water or Pepsi or Coke and stuff. It's all that clear. That's your clear number 1 plastic, and we're actually capturing a very lot of it, and it for a while there, I was shipping it off to uh, a company down in northern Georgia, because what they were doing on with it down there is they make it into a flake material, and then they ship it off to carpet manufacturers. Because I don't know if you know this, but northern Georgia is the carpet manufacturing hub of the United States. They make a lot of carpet down there. But when we're in the big housing boom about 8 years ago, there was a big demand for a lot of that PET plastic to go there. Now we're getting better and better with our technology and how to operate and make this material that much even cleaner, that a lot of it I'm shipping now is to bottle manufacturers. So they're taking the old bottle and making a new bottle into it.
That's great.
Yeah.
You answered the next one already, which is about the plastic trash liners, which people
Yes.
pick up and throw into their recycling. And you're saying if they do that, that's all going to go in the landfill?
Well, what if they take the plastic and put the recycling in it, right?
Mhm.
There's a chance that that will open up, and in the process, because we feed these things called drum feeders, and they have spikes on the side, just designed because we know people aren't going to always do the right thing, and they're going to throw it to plastic bags. We try to get them to break apart before it enters the belts to where we go to the processing line. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And also, it depends on who's picking up the material on that line that knows, well, this is pretty light, so it has to be recycled. They can break it apart and spread it out on the line. But if it's kind of heavy duty and feels wet or something like that, that's when they'll say, no, I'm going to throw this away because I don't want to contaminate the rest of the material in this sorting process. But the best bet, again, is you can keep a plastic bag in your house for cleanliness or whatever inside your recycled container, but use it 6, 7 times. And then if it starts smelling or something like that, then place it in your trash container, where you're going to put your trash to go. And that at least saved the recycling from not getting thrown out, for one thing. Two is the bag is going to be used over a lot of times. And then three is it's going to eventually make its way to the landfill, but it's going to be in the trash. It's not going to be going to the landfill with a bunch of recycling in it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Up another thing, a lot of people are very concerned that their garbage cans and recycling cans outside will get dirty and be stinky. So
Yeah.
they go to great lengths to hide their garbage and stuff in there. What do you say to these people? How, is it a problem for you that garbage cans and recycling bins are stinky?
Not a problem to us. I mean, but at the same time as there's ways to keep things pretty clean. Um, Recycling alone, though, is when you think about it, you don't got to clean the containers out. You just scrape, like for instance, let's go with peanut butter. I don't want you sitting there washing out the peanut butter. I want you to take it all out of the can, scrape it out, and then throw it in there with that resin on the side. That's fine. Uh, a glass jar of ragu sauce. Tap into your organics container and throw it in your recycle bin. And so most of that stuff is pretty clean in the first place as long as you manage it properly. Like we just talked about the tap and toss type of deal. And your blue recycle bin shouldn't get too contaminated. The big bin that people worry about, and I can understand the worries, is the organics bin because you have food waste in there now. So they worry about rodents, they worry about other things as well. And what I could say about the food waste collection bin is you have to figure out a way that's best for you. We have kitchen caddies. Does everybody have a kitchen caddy that is a Fallbrook customer? Kitchen caddies are go underneath your sink or on the countertops. If you don't have one, you can go to Fallbrook Disposal, Fallbrook Refuge, and pick one up, and or just call in. They'll have one delivered to you. These caddies are sealed shut. I mean, it's completely sealed. It doesn't put out any odors or anything like that, unless you open it, of course, and leave it open. But you can also, they have these bags now they're a paper bag, but they have a sheen on them to keep the moisture in. And the sheen's made from an oil-based product that they do break down. And bags break down in our organic processing and the anaerobic digester. So I think Whole Foods has them, and you can put the bag in there and then fill your food waste into that bag. And then once the bag is full, you can wrap it up, put it in your green recycle cart, and you'll keep your cart a lot cleaner that way. That's what I was talking about, paper bags. Paper, newspapers is a good one too. You can take the food waste, wrap it up in the newspaper, seal it as good as you can and put it in there. And then there's some people that don't like to do that at all, and what they want to do is make sure they keep their bin as clean as possible and odor free. So what they do is if they have a little bit of room in their freezer, what they do during the week is they'll freeze the material that they're going to throw in there. Maybe they'll take a paper bag, fill the material up, put it in the freezer, and then the day before collection day, they pull it out of the freezer and just toss the whole thing right into the organics bin and off it goes. That's the best way to keep them clean. When it comes to trash bins, um, unfortunately, I think the only thing, because there's a lot of wet stuff and different things in the trash, if but there wouldn't be if the organic bin's used properly, right? Because you think about it, take all the recycling out, take your organics out, your food waste, and there's very few items that would go into your trash bin. But if you want to make sure you keep trash bin clean, I guess the only thing it would be is some form of a bag to keep the material in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Um,
And
um, okay, there's gooky stuff. You already answered that, how to keep the compost bin clean. We can throw it in
uh,
gently, or we can try not to.
right, right, right.
Um, oh, Susan's got a question. Susan Jackson.
Susan
You
has a question
you
for me.
want, yeah, you want me to ask it? I thought you
Sure, go ahead.
do you have suggestions for getting, disposing of large pieces of furniture such as a 3-piece sectional sofa?
Well, I tell you, there's depending on the condition of it,
I
you can
mean,
always
ready for trash.
ready for trash. Unfortunately, then that's where it's going to end up going. And you call Fallbrook Refuge if you want to get rid of it there, and you can request a bulky item pickup also through them. But if there was any life in it, I always say, sometimes you can go to OfferUp or you can go to Craigslist and put it on there for free, and sometimes you'll have a taker on items like that and give it another year or two of life. But if it's ready for trash, unfortunately, that's where we're going to have to end. It's going to end up then.
Well, my question was specifically like unless they've changed the rules, you were only allowed one per quarter. And
Yes,
and
but you
so
can.
if you have a 3-piece sectional, and you don't have a place to put it, like you got new furniture,
Mhm.
are you gonna put it out on your curb for 9 months, or what's the
No.
solution?
What you would have to do is, if you wanted to use the Fallbrook Refuge, you would have to call them up, and you wouldn't get a free pickup on that, but you would get a pickup. I don't know I'm not on the trash side really, but I know that they offer. It doesn't have to be your free pickup for the quarter, but they will charge you a fee. I don't know what the fee is though, but they will
Okay,
service you anytime.
okay,
The-
thank you.
The
Mhm.
Veterans Thrift Shop is pretty good about picking up any old furniture you have.
Yeah, they can be also an outlet. I deal with Goodwill a bit as well, and but sometimes furniture, that's one thing. If it's a hard piece of furniture like wood or something like that, you have a better chance. Sometimes even Goodwills or Veterans Administration, um, when it comes to cushions and different things like that, they don't want to touch them sometimes. But I would always give it a shot. You never know.
Okay, thank you.
Hmm.
You talked about your fabulous RNG vehicles, which is
Hmm.
thing, and we needed some good news.
Yeah.
Then I thought, okay, well, you put the liquid methane gas in. What comes out of the tailpipe?
Zero emissions.
Zero.
Zero carbon emissions. It's completely clean, burning. Let me see. Some people even call it carbon neutral or carbon. Let me see on that one there. So ultra clean, ultra low carbon. We consider it basically carbon neutral, and so you're not putting out emissions on that. And when you think about it, that's why we refer to it when it's renewable natural gas. It's actually to the positive because not only did we capture that methane that would have been put into the atmosphere, we captured it for a purpose, and the purpose is to run vehicles off of it.
So
Wow.
is it renewable or is it renewed? I mean, renewable makes it sounds like it's going to be used again. No,
Well, it's renew. We say renewable because it was a plant-based material or it was a green waste at one time. Now it's a gas. That's why we call it renewable because we converted that organics into the gas. All right. I bet you there's some more questions out there.
There are. Sherry Lamont
Oh,
has.
Oh,
all right.
hi. I guess my question is, so all the green waste, all your yard waste goes to the
Mhm.
anaerobic facility? Because it has food in it? Maybe?
You broke up a little bit on me.
Oh, so all of the green waste, the yard clippings go to the anaerobic facility?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
And what happens is it does go there,
Uh-huh.
and that's where it goes through the process. It's a 21-day process where the material goes through the anaerobic digester, and microbes basically eat away at that material, and the methane gets released when they're eating away at it. That's when we capture the methane. But at the end of that 21-day process, we have a thing called digestate that comes out. And the digestate, when you look at it, it looks like pure compost right away, but we send it off to a composting facility to be blended with other compost to uh, um, to be utilized for soil amendments in the future.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering if I was just concerned that all that it didn't all go there, I guess. And then what if it had food in it or something? So, okay, so it all
Yeah.
goes to the
Hmm.
anaerobic facility.
And
And
once it goes through the anaerobic
Yeah.
digester,
Then it's a compost.
everything's
Yeah,
been basically burnt.
yeah.
Yes.
Burnt up. Oh, okay.
so nothing gets
Sure.
mulched anymore then.
Yeah, okay. No, it doesn't go. Yeah, that's what I was wondering what happened before and what happened now. Yeah.
Sure. Yep. And there
Um,
was a question about plastics, I think, or something.
yeah, I'm just going down in order here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Nancy Kelly has another question here.
Yeah, I have a couple, if you don't mind if I sneak a second one in.
Sure.
Have your facilities been supported by federal funds and the programs that we had in the last administration? And if so, do you have any concerns about loss of funding with all the cutbacks on sustainability and recycling and
That's a good question, but I probably don't have the true, I don't, that area I don't have the expertise on. I do know that, that we've got a lot invested in our own, and,
yeah,
the card bill,
you just talked
we
about
do,
those facilities you're building, and I'm sitting here thinking, I hope they're not
yeah,
stopped
yeah,
for some
yeah.
reason.
No, I think we'll be okay there. There is a, carb bill and the state, and they do give out grants every once in a while when people apply for them to support infrastructure and adding items like digesters or but they're you're not going to get tremendous amounts of money. That's ones where you have to have that investment into it.
Okay. Then I'm
Yeah.
gonna sneak in this second one. I brought a couple, these things we get from when we go out to eat now.
Yep.
Some are plastic looking and some look more like, I can tear it. It's like cardboard. But they don't have any indication on them
Okay.
of
That
them.
one
What
the
they
one
are,
that's like a paper product. The
right.
paper product can go right, soiled with the food, can go right into your organics recycle bin.
Okay, but I have been also told that some of them have a film, that a lot of things have these plastic
Well,
films
the
inside.
the, the yes, and the
So,
film,
so how
we
do I
tested some of
tell?
them with the, yeah, we tested some of them with the, if it's just a spray, a light spray film, it's usually
Uh,
made from a plant-based material, and over
okay,
that 21-day process, it breaks that down. Um,
okay.
the the other one that you had, it doesn't have a number 5 on it anywhere?
No, no, some of them come now with nothing written,
Oh,
and
most
it's
of them
very
now,
frustrating.
most of those clamshells now, they got away from the one clamshell and they switched over to a number 5 plastic, and that can go in your blue recycle bin, and then it will be recycled with your tubs and lids and things like that.
And
Yeah.
and I can assume that if they look like this and feel like this, that's what it's a
Yeah,
five.
that'd be good to go. You
Okay,
know, and if for some reason it wasn't captured, um, but it looks like a number 5 to me. So, and there's the more and more I see, I always check when I'm out to eat or if I pick up something like that, and I look at the numbers, and a lot of them show 5s on them, but not all the time.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm gonna slip one quick thing. I was once told at a workshop like this, and I don't know if it was EDCO or somebody else, that I asked about the tops. When you don't have, when the top and your home
Yep.
gets away, they told me I could put them in a glass, small tops, in a glass container, close it up, and put it in the recycling. And I don't
That
know.
wasn't it, Joe, though. That wasn't. If you
Okay.
have if you have the top, put it right back on the bottle,
Yeah.
even if it's the plastic bottle or anything.
Sometimes they get
Because
separated, and
you know what happens is, yeah, if they get separated, you could actually probably that would be if it didn't have a home, you didn't have another bottle to attach it to, stick it in something like that because the glass goes through a glass breaking process and the whole processing of the material. And so hopefully it would be captured in. But we like to keep the tops on the plastic bottles. A lot of buyback centers don't want you to have them on there because they can squeeze the bottles tighter to make a heavier bale material. We're not worried about that. We want to keep everything where it's supposed to go. It's a different type of plastic from the number 1 plastic, but at the same time, where it goes to the processor, they have the ability, it's like floated through a wash. And one plastic has a different buoyancy than the other. That's how they separate them caps from the rest of the plastic. Yep.
So we can throw them in if they're loose and we have no
Yes.
place to put it.
Mhm.
you.
Thank you. Same question, more of the same thing. And we've all been told, okay, 1, 2, and 3, that's going to get recycled. Nothing else is. What about 4s and 6s and 7s and 8s?
Okay, let's go. We'll go to the ones we know was PET plastic. 2 is HDPE number 2 plastic. 3 is a PVC plastic. Now, if I take PVC pipe, which is the majority of PVC out there, the PVC white pipe that we use for irrigation, unfortunately, that material has some type of coating on it. So when it burns or melts, it can put off a toxic fume that can be harmful to people. So we don't touch the PVC piping. Um, and that's, like I said, primarily what you'll find in the number 3 plastic. Number 4 plastic, we don't like number 4 plastic. We don't take number 4 plastic, but there's an outlet for it. That's your plastic bags. That's LDPE, low density polyethylene. That's the plastic bags we talked about. Number 5 plastic is the polypropylene. That's the tubs and lids, and we're taking all that, right? So then you go to number 6 plastic, and number 6 plastic is primarily styrofoam. And the nice thing about styrofoam is, if you noticed, if you're getting anything like in electronic wear or anything like that, we're starting to see less and less styrofoam in that stream. Um, and now there's a lot of cities and a lot of businesses that are getting away from that foam plastic for food, and they're switching over to that number 5 plastic lid, the clamshell. So that's a benefit to us. So we're seeing less and less of that styrofoam in the stream. But if we get styrofoam, it has to be clean. We capture the styrofoam, we grind it up, and we put it through something called a densifier that makes it into blocks, and then we can ship it off once we get enough weight to ship that stuff off. Now number 7 is your last plastic. Number 7, the problem with number 7 is a lot of number 7s are a plant-based plastic, and you're finding less and less of them. That's the PLA, they call it, and it's made from plant-based, and sometimes it gets pretty thick and rigid. Composters don't want it, and it can't go to the recycling facility. But there are some number 7s, they're few and far between, is like Arizona iced tea, right? The big gallon iced tea bottles. You'll find them in there, and they, even though they're a 7, they have the same structure and makeup as a number 5 plastic. It just has a special coating inside it. So it gets categorized in the miscellaneous plastics. And but I would say of all the plastics out there that other than the film plastic, we're capturing probably 95, 96% of all the plastics in the stream as long as people put it in there right.
That's great. That's really great.
Yeah.
Scotty Lloyd.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Just a few quick questions. First off, what about large amounts of shredded paper? Should it be
Full
bagged?
question. Love it. Yeah. Shredded paper. Remember I said no plastic bags?
Mhm.
The only time I ever want to see a plastic bag come into our facility is it's loaded up with shredded paper, clear plastic bag. Because if you put your shredded paper in a paper bag, when it gets smashed in the truck, it breaks that paper bag. And then the paper bag, all that shredding gets loose, and you can never capture it once it gets loose. So if I take, and it's the only time I tell people, if you have a home office, put your shredded paper in a clear plastic bag, seal it shut, and put it into the recycle cart that way. And once it comes to our facility, it still will be intact. And on our pre-sort line, before it starts hitting all these screens to break it apart or anything like that, we capture that stuff, or we'll capture it on the floor and we'll isolate it. And then we take that shredded paper and it becomes a different product. We call it office pack. And the office pack is actually shipped to facilities where they make that into tissue paper and napkins and items like that.
Okay, good. Well, you're going to get 4 big bags on Thursday.
There you go. Yeah.
The second question, follow up, and that is, are you still selling, or are Asian countries still one of our bigger buyers
Yes.
of our recycled plastic
Paper.
Still paper?
Not plastic.
Okay.
Paper. Nearly all the paper we process. There's processing facilities on the East Coast that process cardboard and paper. There's not many of them out here in the West. If California, someone tried to open up a facility, they'd have a hard time opening one up. And but for the carbon footprint and the price alone to ship that paper all the way from here to the East Coast, it makes better sense to ship it to where they need it, and they need it badly, is to countries like Indonesia, Taiwan, Malaysia, South Korea. And what they do is they're making all that into new boxes. And the paper, they're making it paper packaging material, or they can make it into other paper products. Sometimes they'll make it into a chipboard for their packaging material. If you got on it a little later, not, but a lot of the cardboard I shipped over to one of my customers makes boxes for Nike, and he makes 15 million boxes per month for Nike alone. And everybody needs that material. One of the things you can tell when you have a piece of cardboard that's been recycled several times over and more, the weaker it gets. That's why we can have the ability to rip a piece of cardboard when we're opening a package. The cardboard rips pretty easy, and that's because it's been recycled over and over and over again. It gets weaker as it gets recycled over. Yeah.
Okay. Last question, real quick.
Yep.
Do you have tours of your facility at Escondido?
At times we do. You would have to contact. Well, you could probably send me the email, and I can send it. It's usually a tour, though, is usually with a group. It's a group,
Okay.
like a green group, like you
Yeah.
guys, But it's a fair amount of walking, a lot of steps and stuff. But if you guys don't mind that, there's always an opportunity, I'm sure. I would pass that information on to my general manager, and he'd get back to you.
I had a chance to go through a tour of the facility in San Bernardino, and it was fascinating.
Yes.
And so I was just curious to see if they had the same there in Escondido.
That's our sister company, Bertec.
Yeah. I went through that
Yeah.
one about 7 years ago.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then again, if you don't get a chance, you don't want to venture out that far, you can always go to our resource page on Fallbrook Refuge, and you can also view all those videos. It shows you the entire process, people on the line and stuff like that. So it gives you a little bit of the picture, right? It's like seeing a concert on TV rather than being there in person, right?
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Gary, your question, I think, has been answered. How clean do items for recycling need to be? I heard scrape.
Just tap and go almost, right? Tap it all out, but don't wash it out. Don't waste water.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Harriet.
I think
Yeah.
I'm next. And some of my questions have been answered. I just put them in the chat to make sure I didn't forget. But I've been reading a lot of information that like news articles that say, oh well, we diligently sort all of our recycling, but really only 10 or 15% gets actually recycled. And I mean, setting aside material that is not appropriate and that has to get filtered out, if I'm recycling cardboard boxes and milk cartons, is basically all of that getting actually recycled, or is some of it end up in landfill just because you can't find a buyer?
It has always been recycled for us. I can't speak for every company throughout the United States, but I can speak for our company, and pretty much most of the companies in the state of California are doing exactly what we say we're doing. We're taking your blue, it has to be in a blue recycle bin, because if it goes in the trash bin, it's never going to get recycled. But if it goes in the blue recycle bin, it goes to our processing facility where we process 2 million pounds of material every single day. And at that facility, we separate every item by commodity, and then it gets baled. If you go down, if anybody wanted to, you could sit down there and just watch the trucks coming in and coming out with recycling that has been processed, that is being either shipped to a domestic outlet. For a lot of the plastics all go to domestic outlets, and that cardboard, you can follow the truck, follow right behind the truck, and it'll take you right to Long Beach Harbor, where it's going to go into a vessel and it's going to be shipped overseas. And these people aren't purchasing this material just to throw it away either. They're purchasing it for a good bit of money after they apply transportation and everything else like that. Another one here is our aluminum cans. We just passed Memorial Day. I'm shipping out a load of aluminum cans tomorrow, and I can guarantee you by Labor Day, them cans I ship out tomorrow will be back as a new can and on shelves.
Wow.
Cool.
Good
Wow.
news.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. You may have gotten this or not, but if I've got like milk cartons and cardboard boxes and Amazon boxes, should I flatten those, because I just throw them into the recycling box as they are, like the recycling
To flatten them. No, you don't need to flatten that. The only time I'd say to flatten it is if you run out of room in your blue recycle bin, break it apart so you can make more room for the next items. But if you have a small amount of material and you just want to throw a box in there that hasn't been torn apart, that's fine. It's going to go into the truck. It's going to get smashed. By the time it gets to the 5 houses down the street, it's going to get smashed to where it's supposed to be anyways.
And milk cartons with the film are okay?
Yes. Milk cartons, it's called a form of Tetra Pak. Tetra Pak is actually, milk cartons were introduced in the stream probably about 5 years ago when they came up with the technology to be able to separate that. Milk cartons have pure virgin material, a paper material underneath the label on the outside. That's not part of the carton. That's part of the film plastic that's shrunk so tight to it. That's where the label is. So what they have the ability to do is remove that label through a process, and then they collect all the virgin material from underneath. And milk cartons are a good product to recycle nowadays. Now that we have technology to separate that out.
What about the little plastic parts that are on
The
the,
cap, yeah.
cap.
The gable top caps.
Mhm.
That also goes when it goes through the process. They separate everything by category. So they're trying to capture all that in the end as well. But I had never been to their processing facility, but I know they want the paper is number one. And then the other stuff, it depends on what facility you might be sending it to. The little caps might end up shipped off somewhere else. I'm not sure. Because you got to think that there's millions and millions of them. So they have ability to capture that. It's usually a number 5 plastic, them caps as well. Yeah.
Okay, and final question. I get these little flimsy they're kind of a green color and they say compostable. It's like for putting vegetables and fruit in when you're getting it at the store. Can those be composted in the green bin or should they be discarded?
Fortunately, that's something that compostable, there's a lot of things out there that are compostable, and them bags are another thing that they want to make themselves look like they're super green about this, right? But that bag will break down, but it won't break down in our anaerobic digester in 21 days. They might break down if you're in a facility for like in a composting facility, Windroad, for like 3 months and it's being turned. That's when they break down. But the nice thing about it is once they go into the trash, and that, unfortunately, that's where you need to put them right now because we tested them and they're not breaking down in our facility in that short a period of time. But when they do go to the trash, if there's any consolation there, they will break down probably within a year time frame at the landfill compared to other plastics that would take a lot longer.
Cool.
Good to know. And it looks like several people are asking about cleanliness of bottles and cans and things to be recycled. That I think you've covered that. Obviously, the same mindset about that. Okay. Maybe some people out there, not me, have something in their refrigerator in a glass jar, a plastic thing that has seen better days. You know, it used to be herring, it's not anymore. And we don't want to open it because it's too horrible. So if
Well,
we,
that one there, you only have 2 choices there. You either open it and hold your nose and dump it into your organics, or you're going to throw it in the trash. Because if you threw it in the recycling, it's going to contaminate recycling. And if you, Alexa off, sorry, Alexa off. Give me my NFL headlights for the day. So the and if you threw it in your recycling, it's going to contaminate recycling. And if you threw the whole glass jar into the compost, that's the last thing we want is good compost with glass in it. So that's why you're going to have to squeeze your nose tight and dump it into the green bin or throw it into the trash. That's your choice.
we're not going to be scraping it too much, I suspect.
Oh, no, don't scrape it too much. Yeah.
All right. Scotty asked about the shredded paper. All right. Oh, Kathy, you want to point that out? Kathy Lambert? Okay, I'll tell you
Okay.
what.
No, I
Ah.
got it. Sorry, I was dozing. Not
Oh, no.
really. No, this is wonderful, and I'm interested, and I'm glad everybody here is making such good points. What do you want me to point out exactly?
High school kids.
Oh, yeah, on Facebook, if you're in Fallbrook, for the friendly folks of Fallbrook website, that's not quite right, but something like that. Especially during the summer, there are a lot of high school kids and high school groups that make money by going around and washing out garbage cans for people. And I haven't seen many ads this year, but school's not out yet. And once school is out, I think they probably will occur. But in any event, if you have garbage cans that you're having nightmares at night about them, put in a little ISO and see, because they seem to crop up in the summertime and then disappear again.
Great.
And my other thing, I'll make it fast, is there's a movie or a film called Blue Vinyl, which talks about the concept of blue vinyl fences and siding for your house and even PVC pipes and so on and so forth. That's not good stuff. If it ever catches fire, it emanates an incredibly toxic film, and people can die. And it's not recommended by anyone who is up to date on trying to save the earth from a variety of things. It's called Blue Vinyl, and I forget the woman who wrote it and stars in it, and she is a case study about her illness due to blue vinyl or white vinyl or any color of vinyl.
Yeah, sure.
And the V in PVC is vinyl. So I recommend that to anybody who has questions about it. It's toxic no matter whether it's a fence or a pipe or sleeping pajamas. I don't know. My third question is there a card that we could get that has all of the numbers for the various triangles that appear on plastic cartons and so on?
Yes, we got a recycling flyers that we could probably have some sent out to you guys. Just send me one person's address or whatever, and I'll slip a bunch of them in the mail for you, and we can also throw in some of the things on the organics as well. But you also can go straight to the EDCO website, and it will detail items. And we're setting up a new search engine on the EDCO/Fallbrook website that will you type in the product that you want to get rid of, and it will tell you exactly what to do with it.
Oh, that sounds good. We could do that.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you so much for this presentation.
you got it. Sounds good. And believe it or not, my battery's getting pretty low now.
Oh, no.
It's okay. If I fall off of here, you know why. I'm good though. I'm still good. It just said it's going to energy saver mode.
This has been terrific. So if we lose you, I want to thank you right now. Looks like there's a couple more questions.
Yeah, go for it.
Can we recycle tissue paper or does that go in the garbage?
Tissue paper should go into your organics bin.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah.
There's one about foil.
Yes.
Foil's okay. Ball your foil up and throw it in your blue recycle bin.
What
Right.
if it's really tiny?
Well,
If it's very tiny, I can't guarantee anything if it's super tiny, like a chewing gum strip of foil or something like that. But we'll give it a shot. Put it that way.
well, that was my question. A lot of bottles, like pill bottles, and what do I mean? The supplements, vitamin bottles come with a seal.
Yeah.
That's paper layer and a plastic layer and a
Yeah,
aluminum layer.
unfortunately, that probably is not going to make its way through because it's sort of like cross contamination when it's together like that. You
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
But
All right.
aluminum pie plates can go into the
Yes,
the
no
recycle.
problem. Put them in the recycle bin. That's fine. Yeah.
Cool.
Great. Vinyl.
Now, just on the subject of aluminum, are some of the bags that coffee come in, is that aluminum? I crumple them up sometimes.
Unfortunately, that's got the only place that
Wasn't
would be able to take that to is there's a place called TerraCycle, and you have to mail it to them, and I
Okay.
don't know where they go with it or what they do with it, but that's for like the very hard to recycle items. TerraCycle, like potato chip bags. The potato chip bags just another form of that, but just lighter than the coffee bag a lot of times.
Those are actually aluminum. That silvery looks like plastic is aluminum in a potato chip bag. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I don't know if that's aluminum, but it probably has some type of metallic aluminum material in it or something like that.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're the hard ones. I mean, when you're on the road to zero waste, that's the top of the pyramid right there.
I just recently found out that Keurig will recycle their pods
Yeah.
for the Keurig.
Yep.
For $7.99, they'll send you a prepaid bag that you can send 100 of your pods back to them, and they'll recycle them.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I hate those little pods and I don't use them, they've been recycling them maybe from the beginning.
Well,
Which
they're a
is-
number 5 plastic, and if people really wanted to do something with them, there's 50-50 chance that our optic sorter pick that up, but it has to be emptied. So you took the grounds and shoved them in your organic pile, in your little caddy, and then peeled the label off, which is usually aluminum or paper,
Right.
and then threw the pod into the recycle bin. There's a chance it will be picked up. I dealt with Keurig already. I had them at my facility. We tested them, and that's why I know about 50% of them got captured.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Cool.
Now they have a little paper cup inside that you can't take out.
It depends on which ones.
Yeah, some of
Yeah.
them have that.
Yeah.
Now you are in the chat, you are getting thanked. Pamela Nevels, it says Robert is incredibly knowledgeable, great information and answers. Nancy Kelly says the same, so does Kathy Lambert and Harriet. And there are no more questions.
All right, guys. I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity, and we'll see you in the future.
Thank you. Fabulous news.
So,
You got it.
Excellent presentation. Thank you
It
so much.
gives me some
Yes,
hope
indeed.
to hear all that you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
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 Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
You guys have a nice night.
Okay.
Too.
You too.
Okay. Bye-bye. Yep.